So we're basically a Singapore-based company. We are supposed to start this organization in 2018-19. We started, but we could not able to run for a longer time. Then we got COVID, and we struggled literally to survive ourselves, because we being an organization in Singapore and having an offshore center here in India during the COVID was a big failure for us. Like, we couldn't able to survive even, like, probably with not even with 10 employees. So there's a lot of absconding. There are people taking too many offers, work from home. There was no honesty, like even the delivery was not happening really, and a lot of escalations from the customer. And later we thought, okay, we will actually take a pause. Let's actually deliver the work from Singapore, and we again pushed all the projects to Singapore. Then once COVID got settled, we started this journey. Then we still see a bigger problem, and the problem magnified to an extent. I've seen people taking 4-5 offers, putting 4-5 laptops in front of them, and working from home. And whenever we are giving an offer, they take the offer. In 2 days, we get a call saying that I have another offer. Can you just give me another 40% hike or 30% hike? And we being a very small organization or a startup or maybe a mid-sized organization, we are not able to remunerate to the ask what they're actually requesting for. Then the 4th day he comes again saying that, no, I got another offer. I want another 20 plus than what I've asked last time. I mean, right? We work on a very less rate cards, and we couldn't able to survive. And again, we pushed our, the delivery center again back to a country where we can get resources very easily. Then this discussion started. What should we do? Is that the problem only we are facing or everyone? So we've happened to connect with few of our known contacts who are running the IT organizations. We were just trying to understand what really are they doing, how they are able to survive. And they have the same problem because they've been in the system for a long time. They were able to survive, but we are not able to survive. So a couple of observations that we did is there is a change in the behavior of the employee because of work from home, or because of the there is too much of demand, because every organization was requesting people to work from home. The demand increased, and the seniors who are in the system, they know the tactic of taking 2-3 jobs, right? So that is one observation that we understood. The second one was people, while they take the project, while they're working, they hardly deliver anything. They literally deliver anything. They a task which takes 2 hours, 3 hours, it takes 2 days, 3 days. So not just that, there are people who are facing problem even to get the laptop from the person who left the organization. So there is a different team they're engaging to get the so many problems, the list of problems they came up with. And then we thought, I think we should do something. We should do something that could actually avoid these instances. And that is when Ian Verma started thinking, what should we do? We should start connecting with expertise, understand how we can solve the problem. We started building a platform. We started building like an application, could be a Uber or a Ola. Then we thought, let's stop it. Let's not be like an application or a product. Let's be a system where we will insist from top to bottom order. We have to insist this problem right from the ministry to the organizations like NASSCOM. We should inform these instances to CSI, probably the state level IT associations like HIC, TITA. So that's how we thought we should do it. Then parallelly, when we started interacting with these organizations, what we understood is there is no such policies, there is no such system, or there is no such the backend database to capture this. Then we thought, yes, along with a system or a regulated system, we should also start something which can capture the footage. Then again, we initiated the journey of the building a product. We built this product on blockchain so that there is a transparency during the entire transaction. Then we started speaking, what should a policy should be, what should a regulatory system should be, what component a regulatory system should have. And that's how we started building this. And we initially wanted to just launch a product and get the product, give license to everyone and they use it, and that really doesn't work. The way we wanted to do it is, we wanted to get this probably an insist, probably an enforcement, right from the organizations like HIC, TITA, NASCOM, or the IT organizations like CSI, and get that to the organization, get that to the HR and the recruiter level, and see the value of such kind of a products, and then get the adoption. And that's how we build this product, and we wanted to make this product free for everyone, just to make sure they get value out of it, just to make sure the faster we get out of that situation, the better we grow as an organization. If not, there are a lot of risk. There is absolutely risk to the entire IT ecosystem. And that's how we started our journey of building a product. Then we thought, okay, it should not be a product, then it has to be a regulated system. And we actually formulated a couple of things. Then we thought, okay, we cannot go and directly insist this regulatory system. There has to be a body that we should associate with, or we have to collaborate with. And we started speaking with the IT associations, and there is a good response from them. And the suggestion from everyone was, come from a top-down approach, and that's when it actually can penetrate. And I'm sure everyone must be having these problems related to absconding, moonlighting, be it taking too many offers and counter offers, people asking a person with 4 lakh salary or a 5 lakh salary, jumping into like a 16, 17. I'm sure everyone must be having this problem in your organization. So the overall the event takes you through a couple of maybe the instances. We have a panel discussion talking about the real challenges that are happening in the operations, the recruitment and the recruitment, HR and the operations, and what as an organizations like us, or maybe how we should actually take it forward to get this regulated system. So that's how we thought we would actually call all the IT organizations to this event, the people who are the decision makers, or the people who are who can actually take this to a level of securing themselves, and also giving a word for the other organizations, other small startups or medium-sized organizations like us to adopt this product. So I would like to thank everyone. I know we have registrations going on. We told that it starts at 10:30, so there is still registration going on. I think we have half the crowd. We would start another like 4 or 5 minutes. Jayesh Ranjan Garu is in a small meeting. He's just going to complete it, and he's going to be back here probably another 3-4 minutes. So thank you. So if someone wants to talk about it before we start the main, I'm absolutely fine. You can actually come and talk. But if otherwise, just give us another like 4-5 minutes. I know the silence is actually makes everyone uncomfortable, but just be a comfort. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I always believe that, ideal mind is the devil's workshop. I'll repeat. Ideal mind is the devil's workshop. So I thought, it's always good to really engage the minds. There's a possibility of, drowsiness setting in. So I would like to really start with a quote that, it's not the strongest species which will survive. It's not the most intelligent which will survive. It's the one which keeps adapting to the change will survive. So it's time for all of us really to adapt to the change. Otherwise, the obsolescence of knowledge is so much, the knowledge which we possess today becomes obsolete by tomorrow. So unless I upgrade and upskill myself on a regular basis, there's all possibility I'll become outdated. So with this, probably I would really invite all of you for this kind of a great session here. And I'm sure certainly it is going to really open new vistas, new paradigms for us to go back and become more efficient and effective in the jobs which we do. I was reading another quote which says about see the invisible, feel the intangible, achieve the impossible. I really wonder, what is seeing invisible? What is visible we don't get to see these days? And the quotation says that see the invisible. And it caught my attention and fascination. How is that, I can anticipate future. Yeah? You're anticipating the future, thinking ahead of times, beyond the horizons. Therefore, I can design, develop and deliver products which are user-friendly, which are human-friendly. And the other one is feeling the intangible. Maybe this is tangible, I can touch. But intangible, I can't touch. I can only feel. So how is that, I can feel the impact I'm going to leave on the end user. Whatever the product or whatever the service I'm developing or designing, what is the kind of impact it's going to leave on the end user? If I can really feel for that, probably then I'll go back and work on the design and model, develop a model which would really have a great impact on the human race. And coming to the last one, achieve the impossible. What is possible is tough these days, VUCA world. And with so much competition in place, the very quotation, wakes me up in the bed in the morning. Why is that we get up in the morning? Not to have breakfast, you see, and not to do the regular chores of work. I think we need to really go out and make a difference. So achieving the impossible is certainly, possible with humans. It's just that in the mind, kind of, experience seated in the flow. If you really sum total that, it would run into thousands of years of experience seated in this flow. If you can leverage and harvest this wisdom seated here, and I'm sure certainly we can pivot India into the global leader in terms of economy. We could beat the UK hands down. We could become the largest economy. And then the British, particularly Britishers always have the colonial mindset. They felt that very disturbed with that, how come India beat us? But anyway, that is a great start, to think of that India is going global and economically strong. And I'm sure certainly all of us, if we can reinvent ourselves and bring the better version of ourselves to the job every day, I'm sure certainly we can achieve miracles. What a silence. I hope only you are all with me, huh? There's a possibility that particularly in sessions it so happens, we stare like this. And what a speaker would feel is what a rapt attention, even they're listening without blinking eyes. There's all possibility that I'm physically present and mentally, see, some responded, some even they don't want to respond to this also. Yeah? I think, there's other potential in the humans is that in the course of the session, we may keep our eyes wide open and not listen to anything. It's called meditation with open eyes. And there's another potential, there could be someone who's sleeping with open eyes. That's the next level of competence in the competency ladder. So we'll have to see how much, today information is going to flow and it will be enormous. It is like a river flowing into the ocean. Before the river flows and merges with the ocean, there are a lot of people along the journey. They may pick a glass of water, a bucket of water, a barrel of water, a tank of water. Now there could be some people who are just watching the river flowing and it goes into the ocean. So today a lot of information will flow for you all. You'll have to see how much you want to take with you by being physically and mentally present here so that you can really maximize the learnings and you can really go back and do a good job. So wonderful. I really invite all of you for this journey. And I'm sure certainly this is going to be a wonderful journey for all of you to be here and experience this learning, to go back and become more and more efficient and effective in your jobs. Yeah? Thank you for being good audience.
I would like to also find out from the audience as to what are the reasons that you are here. Why are you here? What are you expecting to be able to solve with being in a program like this? For myself, I am today, after 40 years in industry, in corporate India, I am today an advisor and a corporate consultant, strategy, as well as culture transformation in various companies. And I'm on the boards of different organizations, especially academia, like for instance, on the academic advisory board of HCU and things. Where I've seen the problem is it's all pervasive, right? It comes right across the industry, whether it is from talent acquisition experts like we have right here, or it is from the employees themselves. We find that business is at a crunch today. You have rate cards which are not moving, right? You're fixed with certain rate cards. They've been there before the pandemic. During the pandemic, people have been working from home. And since they've been working from home, they believe that they can take on 2 or 3 jobs because their 24 hours, you see, is not filled. So they might as well work with 2, 3 other companies. When they're doing that, they're also increasing the salaries that they're quoting. And that becomes a problem for us because when your employee costs are going up, how are we going to be able to make ends meet? Where is the sustainability for our organizations? On the other hand, for businesses like us also, is it coming? Okay. So, for businesses also, if you look at it, the business heads always want people yesterday, right? I mean, it's always a problem. They want people yesterday. Where are you going to get people yesterday when companies are so careful about the people they're going to leave that they've increased the notice period into 3 months? So what do? when I say we, I'm talking about talent acquisition experts like we have right here in this room, you will obviously go for people who already are on their notice period. So you are the people making the double, triple, fourth offers to them. And those people have actually committed somewhere else. The people who they've committed their first, hire, they've stopped their pipeline, right? They're not hiring for that position any longer because they believe that that person is going to join them. But what happens? Finally, in fact, the day that the person is supposed to join at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, we get to know the person is not joining, right? So what do employers do? They are finally, for the same position, they're giving 3 or 4 offers. And at the end, they have to drop 2 or 3 of the offers when one person joins. So the entire problem is getting compounded from all areas. So I'm hoping that with a system like this, the NERS, I'm hoping that we are able to bring back the ethics that are required in this industry, which will take India back to being one of the foremost in skills and talent in whatever industry. Like we were talking about, Mr. Ravi, that it's actually something.
Immense pleasure welcoming all the executives and delegates to the NERS event. What is NERS? It's a National Employee Regulatory System, and it's a centralized platform built on blockchain to enforce industry good practices for IT ecosystems, stakeholders such as employer, IT employees, end customers, and nation. NERS is built for IT ecosystem to avoid risk related to resource absconding, moonlighting, offer dropouts, and scouting. It gives the opportunity for the employee and the employer to bring back the ethical practices and make India a country to do IT business. Coming to the agenda for the day, we honor the chief guest by followed by the keynote, NERS launch, panel discussion on current challenges in IT operations, HR and recruiting related to resources, and we have one more panel discussion on need for regulatory control and visibility system of employees networking. Not just moonlighting, there are many other issues which are impacting the IT sector and the IT ecosystem, and we need to find solutions of these problems through this event. Now I would like to call upon Mr. Varma Garu onto the dais.
Varma Garu is an experienced technology consultant and entrepreneur with 18 years of industry and consulting experience. He is currently the founder of CEO of Roboxer Technologies Private Limited, a company he founded in November 2017. Prior to founding Roboxer Technologies Private Limited, he was the co-founder and CEO of Meteorite Informatics Private Limited from December 2007 to October 2017.
I welcome our second guest of honor, Mr. Nani Rajagaru, on the dais.
Nani Garu, as a senior manager at CES, also a head HR and recruitment staffing SP Software Limited, and entrepreneurial by nature and able to see a bigger picture, utilizes skills from an extensive background in well-known blue-chip corporate consortium within general management, HR and recruitment, operations innovation, and change management.
I'm very much delighted to invite our chief guest, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan Garu, the Principal Secretary of IT. Sir, I request you to kindly join the dais.
Jayesh Ranjan Garu is a highly accomplished member of an Indian Administrative Service of the 1992 batch. Currently, he is serving in the state of Telangana, India. He has held several important positions in the state and has been instrumental in driving growth and development in various sectors.
I would like to call upon Mr. Varma Garu for few words to address this gathering. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Respected Chief Guest, Principal IT Secretary of IT, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan Garu, Chief Mentor, Guest Speaker Naniraz Garu, and Mr. Sandeep from TITA, and the eminent personalities of IT industries, Ashok Tatipalli Garu, Ravi Venkateswar Garu, Venkatraman Garu, sorry, Lakshman Kumar Garu, Madam Lekha Sista Garu, Miss Garima Garu, Miss Anusha Garu, and the distinguished guests on the dais, my dear friends, we welcome you all for the historic event of launch of product, National Employee Regulatory System. See, we have been have witnessed many debates like the videos which you just saw on the employee attrition, drop rates, abscondings, ghosting, and moonlighting. However, it is time for us to shift our focus beyond these issues, and should consider their impact on the IT industry, we are known for providing offshore IT services. Every organization, including us, is grappling with the challenges of moonlighting, dropouts, and to meet the recruitment requirements for the current projects and ongoing projects in an organization. But we need to set back and check ourselves at what cost we have developed HR policies, and at what cost we are addressing these challenges in the organization. We have not only compromised our ethics, we have compromised the budgets, the contingency budgets, what we kept for maintaining bench strength, and also to build talent. And we have, but actually contributing exponential salary inflation and also to the unemployment rate. To cut the costs and realign priorities, IT companies have started downsizing jobs, with Accenture announcing 19,000 jobs, and Salesforce announcing 8,000 jobs, and IBM has announced 3,900 jobs, and Kyndryl cutting an undisclosed number of roles. IT companies are supposed to focus on upskilling and reskilling their existing workforce. They will improve only the capabilities of the workforce, but also it will help organizations to retain the talent. However, this is only possible when salary inflation is under control. As the Indian IT industry continues to provide offshore IT services, it is essential to ask ourselves how long we are going to sustain IT as an Indian IT industry. We are going to sustain its position as the preferred offshore destination, with the bigger IT firms in India establishing their near shores in Mexico, which is near for US, Armenia for Europe. Now it is crucial for us to examine the average salaries in India, Mexico, and Armenia. If we take one skill set, data scientist with having 5 years of experience, the salaries of average salary, salaries in India is $30,000 to $60,000 in India. Mexico, which is near to US, which is $30,000 to $70,000, and Armenia is $25,000 to $50,000. When there is no much of variation in terms of executing their cost, when the resources are available and the execution of the project at their time zones, why companies from US and Europe should look towards to India? Let's not forget that India has already lost ITS, call centers, and BPOs to the competitive countries. Now the question is, can Indian IT industry take the control of these challenges and maintain its position as a preferred offshore destination? So that brings up this regulatory system. So we strongly believe National Employee Regulatory System will address these challenges. This is a regulatory system to control salary inflation, with provide an opportunity to build sustainable teams and ensuring career, financial, and social stability for the employees. We strongly believe that NERS should become an industry practice, not just another application, to retain our footprint in the global IT industries. With this, I urge every IT organization take a responsibility and join us to address the challenges together and to build the ethical work culture. Thank you. Thanks for the time. Yeah.
I would like to call upon Nani Rajagaru to address the gathering. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Firstly, I congratulate Verma and his entire crew or the team who are directly or indirectly part of building this product. So this is need of the hour. And Honorable Chief Guest, Sri Jayesh Ranjanji, Verma, and distinguished guests. So we have seen these HR problems for many years now, nothing new. The what you call talent acquisition or attrition, or you call engagement of employees, ethics, integrity. These are all part of companies and HR policies for years. But sudden change, probably post-COVID, is bringing about a lot of discussion in various forums within companies. Then why are we facing this kind of a problem? As we just saw the presentation, so Rashad was right. India is moving towards not being a low IT or low cost IT destination. It's moving very fast towards the higher cost. We already lost, if you look at 10 years back, what are we in BPO? What are we in call centers? Today, we seldom see any organizations into BPO or call centers because we have crossed the threshold of the cost saving for various countries. So in next 10 years, there is again a possibility that Indian IT industry will be as expensive as US or UK or Canada. So then we are in trouble. So if you look at what Lekhaji said, the crux of the problem is not people. I personally believe that the problem started with companies. So we have to question ourselves, are we hiring or are we buying? So when companies started buying people, then employees stopped negotiating and now they're auctioning. Right? So I have 10 lakhs, 15, 20, 25, and just because we are in need of people, we are hiring them. And now people talk about attrition. Today, it is unbelievable that we have close to 20-25% attrition, which means every one employee out of 4 are moving out of the company. That's phenomenal. So it's kind of you have to keep on hiring employees, new employees every year, 25%, 20%. So now as company we have to question. So is it a forced attrition or employees are leaving? Why are they leaving? So probably you have a few panel discussions post the launch. I'm sure our good friends are going to cover those points. So this is where we feel I was fortunate to receive an award recently from a company side that one of the dream companies to work for by Tom's Ascent. I can proudly tell you that we had 0% attrition for last 3 years. And the only reason, Lekhaji, you asked me a question in one of the discussions, how can you maintain, how did you receive that award? So my first point to my recruitment team is not to speak or extend your discussion if a candidate says, I already hold an offer. Please don't talk to them. Even if he or she is the best, don't talk to them. Just leave the call there. So today, we made it a practice that we will not speak to anybody who is holding an offer. Forget about offering them. We don't even offer them. We say that if they have an offer, drop the call. That's fine. We still have more people. Now, the other point is buying a talent versus building a talent. So we prefer building a talent. And we all know that too many companies are targeting too less a talent. So we have a limited talent pool and everybody are behind that. But we have to understand as a company that there is much beyond that limited pool of talent. There are people who are waiting for an opportunity. That's where we go. So we don't want to compete for the same talent, rather identify a talent. And if you look at now, colleges are training, schools are training, and students join a training institute. When they come to a company, they're also being trained. But I believe that we have to educate than train. Make them, give them the knowledge, the importance of the work, the ethics, the integrity, right? So the system says that they want to bring in those ethics. So we have to go back to the old school and tell them the importance of ethics and integrity of working in a company, right? So people talk about 3 jobs, 4 jobs, and employees are losing their personal life. And of course, we know the reasons. And if somebody is working for 3 jobs, it's as good as having 3 spouses. Very difficult to manage them, right? So it's like that. So from the company standpoint, we have to understand that we cannot compete with for the same talent. Let's stop that. So the initiative should start from the company, but not from the employee. So we have to take that oath. And this system, the current system what Verma built, gives you a perfect platform to understand if the resource is already holding an offer. So it is making our job easy, and Verma and his team gave a great thought. They had deep insights about this, and I was one of the members to discuss about the problems of the industry. But I'm sure I was the one I was talking about from company standpoint, not from the employee standpoint. Right? So if this platform can be made as a practice, if most of the companies can start looking at this kind of a product, I'm sure this moonlighting stops or multiple jobs may be reduced. That also gives opportunity for more people to get jobs. I have 2 case studies recently. I saw an announcement from Birlasoft that one employee has 7 different PF accounts. So he is doing 7 jobs. 7 jobs and 7 PF accounts. That's even surprised, right? And one of my friend, when he complained from US, so they offered a candidate in US. That guy came to India, gave his laptop to his cousin who's sitting in India, and this guy is working on behalf of that employee, right? So now with cyber security, now we can identify the geographies where the employees are working. So a lot of regulations have to be implemented, and from the HR standpoint, this is one kind of a solution that could help us. So with this, I would love to leave the other discussions open for the panel to discuss in deep and help the IT industry, because we all have to understand that the benchmark is 10 years back, what is BPO industry in India, and now we have to think 10 years from now what IT industry is going to be in India. So that should give you the answer for the discussion. Thank you so much.
I would like to invite Jayesh Ranjan Garu to address the gathering. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Very good morning, all the attendees, guests, Sudhakar Verma Garu, Nadimpalli Raju Garu, other invitees. First of all, my congratulations to the team of Roboxa for focusing on this very important aspect of our IT landscape. In fact, we have heard some of the IT leaders speak about the concern they have about this phenomena. And from a government point of view also, I share the same concern and anguish. This is something which a few employees may benefit from, but in the long run, it will cause very serious damage to the IT industry as a whole. In fact, many of us know that India's recognition as a IT powerhouse first came when the Y2K problem was identified largely in the US, approximately around 1998, 1999. At that time, there was a concern that when the calendar moves from 1999 to 2000, the programming will not be seamless, and therefore many critical systems will fail. And at that point in time, many of our homegrown Indian companies, they kind of saw this as an opportunity. They created solutions, they deployed those solutions, and thereafter, the reputation of India as a powerhouse for technology where solutions can be created, deployed so easily at an affordable cost, that became true. Post-COVID, I have spoken about it on other forums also. We see a similar Y2K opportunity because the pace of digitalization is mounting like anything. Earlier, it used to be believed that only Fortune 500 companies, level companies will focus on technology, will focus on digitalization. But we are now seeing that even a small company, a mid-scale company also, if they don't digitalize, they will just fall by the wayside. They will perish. And much of that digitalization opportunity can potentially come to India. But if our reputation is spoiled by these kind of practices, by behaving unethically, as many of the speakers in that AV pointed out, that will be not just a huge reputation loss, it will create a serious impact on getting new projects, getting new companies come to India, set up their capability centers here. It will have a very serious repercussion on everything. So let us also, and particularly for Hyderabad, I can mention this. In fact, some of you will know this, that in the last financial year, in the entire country, 450,000 new IT jobs were created, of which 1/3, approximately 150,000, were created by Hyderabad alone. Even now, I will not be exaggerating if I say this, that no single week passes that we don't receive interest from some new company, largely European companies, American companies, who want to set up their technology centers here, or people who are already here, they want to expand further, they want to do more from here. So these are great times for Hyderabad. And one of the reasons why so much of interest in Hyderabad has come is because of the stellar reputation of our IT sector employees. In fact, dozens and dozens and dozens of global CEOs have told me that they appreciate the employees of Hyderabad. Many of them have centers elsewhere also, elsewhere in the country, elsewhere in the world. And they compare the contribution that the Hyderabad team is making as compared to other locations. And they always tell that they have noticed that the Hyderabad team is more hardworking, they're more disciplined. There is a very strong commitment to deliverables. They're sensitive about timelines. In fact, as you know, many times it has happened in the past that whenever there is some challenge or problem elsewhere, that work has been handed over to Hyderabad. And global CEOs have appreciated it, that when additional work has been given to Hyderabad, the team has actually taken it as a challenge, as a responsibility. They have worked extra hard to deliver everything which is expected of them. Normally the tendency is that if some additional work is given, there's a feeling that why has it come to me? There is a pushback. But what the global CEOs appreciate is that there is no such thing. People actually like to do work, challenging work, they get recognized. And that is the reputation which has been built over years, particularly in the last 9 years, ever since the new state of Telangana has been formed. And we do not want anything to happen which pulls down that reputation. It's not easy to build that reputation, but one small act of irresponsibility can pull it down. So we have been discussing about this since 2022. I think in October, we first contacted each other. And I was very impressed by their solution. In fact, you mentioned that you have seen a person having 7 jobs. They have actually shared data with me that there is a person who is having 32 jobs. And they have actually shared with evidence. I have it in my phone. I was trying to pull it out, but difficult to pull it out immediately. But they found such extreme kind of examples also, that people have misused the liberty and particularly the anonymity which was given during the pandemic time through this transition to work from home. It has been misused enormously. Fortunately, I kind of found out from them that this particular case that they pointed out was not from Hyderabad. So that's a good thing. But yeah. But otherwise also, it is, as others pointed out, there is conflict of interest. It is unethical. And obviously sometimes it also can lead to criminality because you are working with a particular software, a particular application, you have mastered it, and then if you offer it to someone else, then it could be a breach of IP and proprietary software, etc. also. So let us not encourage it. So while we all agree in principle that it is something which we should curb, we should clamp down upon, but how to do it is a very big question. And I'm very happy that now a formal solution called NERS has been developed. And again, I'm very happy that a large part of the Roboxa's team, which has developed that solution, is located in Hyderabad. I just learned from Sudhakar Garu that 115 people are working on this product from their Hyderabad office. This is a company originally in Singapore. So they have a team in Singapore also. And he was just telling me that they are expanding worldwide now to Malaysia, to Mexico, and other places. So of course, good luck to them. But the satisfying thing is that the core product development is happening out of Hyderabad. So feel very happy about it. I'll also pick one more point, which Raju Garu mentioned, which also is a very important point. So we also need to do a deep dive on why this phenomena happens. So of course, at a very basic level, you are right when you are saying that what kind of values are inculcated during your child rearing days and as a part of being in a family. But we also need to explore how are the employees getting treatment in their companies. And I don't know whether there are HR people in the audience or not, but whenever I go to an IT company and informally talk to employees, what I find is that one person or one wing in the company which they dread the most is the HR wing. If they see some HR manager or HR GM or someone around, the kind of fear you see on their faces is to be seen to be believed. So how has that happened? I mean, why is it that HR should be feared rather than you feel friendly and you feel amicable towards them? So we also need to look at organizational culture. In fact, I remember in one IT association meeting when I said the same thing, a very senior IT leader actually took the mic after me and told that we don't run our offices to entertain our employees. We run our offices because there is a job to do, there are some deliverables. So I'm not saying that you convert your office into a cinema theater and run 3 shows and all that. But no, you can do that. Many companies have offices where lots of recreation is allowed and so on and so forth, which is a great thing. But at the same time, some basic concern about what they are doing. And we have seen this. In fact, during the pandemic years and during this lockdown and other challenges, we have seen how hundreds and thousands of IT sector employees have volunteered to help the needy people. No one asked them to do so. Their CEO could have easily signed some check and handed it over, and their responsibility to contribute to COVID relief would have just got over. But hundreds of employees, thousands of employees. In fact, many of you will remember that there was a stage when the migrant workers were literally walking back to their homes because there was no other alternative. And I have seen through my own eyes that whenever they are walking through, they are passing by, large number of employees have stood there, they have given them food, they have given them footwear, they have given them clothing, they have given them money, and no one asked them to do. I don't think these things even are recorded in the official CSR contribution which was made. But they have done it. So which means also that a majority of the employees have that innate goodness in them. And how do you build upon them? How do you respect them? How do you value them? That is also very important. So let us ensure that while we use technologies, we use products like NERS to be strong on these kind of misuses which are happening. But let us also create a new culture in which employees are respected, they are treated as human beings, and we then establish a great IT landscape, which Hyderabad has been having. It's not to say that this is something which we have to do afresh. Hyderabad has been having that. That is the reputation. And I hear this, as I said, again and again from hundreds of global CEOs and even India leaders, etc. So let us work towards it. The government will be very supportive of any such initiative which any of the IT company or IT associations take. And I do hope that while we have introduced a product which is as of now extremely required, but gradually we are able to reach a stage where the project becomes obsolete and it dies its natural death. But nevertheless, congratulations to the entire team of Roboxa, to Sudhakar Verma Garu and all his colleagues for this initiative. Thank you very much.
I'll now invite Dr. Sriveni to moderate the panel discussion on the topic IT organization challenges related to resources. I welcome you, ma'am, onto the dais.
Thank you so much. A very good afternoon. We are past 12 to the eminent dignitaries, the distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. The topic today for our panel discussion is IT organizations and its challenges with respect to the resources. So may I invite Garima Pandey, please. Welcome
Garima
to the
Pandey
dais.
has an extensive career in human resources spanning over 19 years. She is currently the founder and CEO of Unique, a company based in Hyderabad, Telangana, India that provides customized leadership development solutions.
Welcome once again, Garima. Yeah. So may I invite the next guest, Anusha G. Welcome to the dais.
Anusha, ma'am, worked as assistant manager at technical recruiter at ServiceNow, assistant manager talent acquisition at Phenomenon. Ma'am believes it's all about connecting with people, knowing their dreams, and empowering them to live those by landing them a desired opportunity.
Yes. We have the third member, panel member. May I invite Dr. Lakshman Kumar Kodupaka. Welcome to the dais.
Dr. Lakshman Kumar is an experienced executive in the field of human resources, currently serving as Executive Human Resources at Pointsoft Private Limited. He also holds the position of Director Talent Acquisition at Innova Solutions.
Welcome all of you to this panel discussion. So it is an observation that we spend 20 to 22 hours on a resource for a commitment, and yet the deliverables are not we are not able to deliver the project timelines. And the discussion which we are going to have from the employer perspective and also the employee's point of view, and finally the reason why we are not able to deliver the project timelines in time to the end customer, and the overall impact on our nation, why we are losing out onto the competent countries, our offshore countries. So let's go ahead with this. And my first question to you, Dr. Lakshman, is, now you must have seen that what is the life cycle of any HR or recruitment when there is a person who is leaving your organization to another company or hopping in from other company to yours? May you please add on?
I think firstly, a person leaving the organization or joining the organization is just not onboarding a person. It is a kind of bonding we lose with the person, first thing, the human touch. And second thing is there is a indirect productivity that will impact, because we already have built a credibility with the customer and there is an impact on the project. So my cost is not just the resource salary cost, but the total hiring cost. So most of the time I feel time is money. So if you're giving a time to someone, even for the interview, now I carry close to 20 years of industry experience. Whatever the 18 years experience aside until 2021 versus last 2 years, it has been a great stress. Sometimes we really can't tell that, but at some point of time, you really used to think, are we really in recruitment? Why do we need to be in recruitment? That kind of stressful days we were in. So the first impact, what I really feel is the loss, indirect loss which we have with the customer, because we are losing a person who already got enabled in the system. So that is something which we cannot replace immediately. We always feel that we can replace a body to body just by knowing the skills, but that skills is something we can always impart, the technical skills. But the resourceability, the kind of engagement which we build, I think that takes a big journey.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lakshman. May I have your views on this, Garima?
Yeah, I agree with Lakshman. Actually, it's not only about a person coming. It's kind of skill, knowledge, the attitude, not only recruiter, once we onboard the person, right? The time and amount we spent on onboarding the person and making him accustomed to the company, him or her, and the kind of engagement the HR department, the leaders, the department heads does with the person. This all is actually the opportunity cost, what we call the opportunity cost is opportunity loss. So all this is actually mounting to losses, and the emotional pressure which actually builds up on the recruitment team, on the HR team, is tremendous. Because after having all these employee-friendly policies like employee engagement, we have good holiday list, or let's say leave policies, still people are leaving. So what is the reason behind it? And after having an open conversation also.
Fantastic. Thank you for your contribution. May we have your views as well, Anusha?
Sure. So I feel it's working either ways, both ways. Employees are leaving. At the same time, the organizations are putting their best efforts to retain employees because, like Lakshman mentioned, we know the bonding matters, the ethics of the employee over a period matters. So I think the organizations also are pulling up their socks to retain employees than bringing somebody new on board. Getting that 40% and retain the employees better than getting a person with a 40% hike from other organization. So, yeah.
Maybe you can continue.
It's positive both ways.
Absolutely. You would also continue with what are the observations you see during the recruitment or the HR process?
Observations is, I think, if all of us, if you consider us, I think 10 years and above down the lane, when we speak to people, I think we get a hunch of it if he's really looking for the opportunity or if he's, if he's just shopping around, right? So from the moment we start speaking to candidates, we know, yes, they're serious about the opportunity. Are they looking for monetary benefits? Or are they really looking for technical aspects or for the organization sort of things? So it gives us a hunch. I think we are well prepared when there are people shopping around. We know we offer them sometimes because they're highly potential and they might turn around and join us. We take our chances. But then we also have a backup ready so that we are ready for the last minute surprises.
Yeah.
So, that's about it. I think these days we have turned out to be smart too, that we have our backup plans ready.
Fantastic, yeah. So expanding on that, Dr. Lakshman, what if somebody upfront says, I have other offers? How would you want to respond?
I think most of the recruiters these days are under the pressure to close the positions rather than understanding the sensitivity of the business, because we are just moving the problem from today to tomorrow. I think this we anticipated last year because I saw a 3 years, 4 years guy going from 5 lakhs to 30 to 35 lakhs, and there was no assurance that he will join us. And after all the effort, he didn't join. I'm just opening a gender discrimination statement also. So what is happening is, in that 32 lakhs, I would have hired 5 people if I look at only the resource cost. So what is happening is it will hit your bottom line, and most importantly is when you're getting that kind of person in the system, it will impact your existing workforce. So today, if you look at, I'm sure most of the companies have got their hike letters in the last 1-2 weeks. This year, most of the companies are giving single digit. So how do you expect the existing employees will be happy? Because the kind of loaded cost which we carried overall the last year definitely will have impact, because we are very tight on the margins. The customer is not going to increase anything. It is your affordability whether I can afford or not. So the big fish will come and eat the small fish. The small fish, end of the day, is the low level employees.
Thank you, very well informed. So continuing on the same line, what if an employee doesn't turn up, doesn't join, or is absconding? How would you respond to that?
Yeah, actually that is very challenging, I would say, that because I have faced situations when employees answering to us on 19th of the evening that he's joining tomorrow and 20th no show, right? And we all are sitting to welcome to employees, HR department, and leaders are waiting. And it's very depressing situation because that employee, whatever he demanded, because as per the market, we had 2-3 offers, and since we are also HR talent acquisition team is also pressurized that we have to fulfill that position because we have a project standing up there. So these employees, when they don't show up, it really actually hurts. Actually, first the deliverables are not on time, then it hurts the enthusiasm and of the HR department, and of course the team, because team is also waiting for an assert to come and join. So what I would say that It's actually a practice is needed, okay, very much in demand as NERS is that we should have a regulation like if the employee is having 2-3 offers, the other company should know, and we should recruiters should stop approaching those candidates rather than so that practice would actually help the employee also in the long run, because we all are HR connected.
Yeah.
Okay, if you actually denied my offer and then you gain an offer there, in a lot of HR forums, like I will meet Lakshman, right?
Yeah.
And we may discuss, he took the offer, he never joined, right? So in the long run, the reputation of the employee will also get tarnished.
Reputation, yes, absolutely fantastic. So,
In the talent war,
yes.
I am more happy if that person is not joining a company. Rather, I have very much known cases where we were friends, but when it comes to talent, it is different.
Exactly, exactly. That's fantastic way of putting it across. Just a second, I'll continue with Dr. Lakshman and I'll come back to you, Garima. Any instance, any particular example of you not having control over that, of perhaps retrieving any laptop or anything? If you could give any example.
There were many cases. In fact, as someone was mentioning, there was a dedicated team. I remember somebody from my own fraternity group. When the person wanted to join the company, he took everything. And this was in 2022, where the laptop was dispatched. The guy kept laptop for 1 week and he sent the laptop. But he didn't send the laptop back. He was telling that my wife liked the laptop back, so sorry, please, I'll keep it with me. So that kind of worst experience, like the kind of credibility we build as an IT industry, we have seen the worst of it. And again, I want to add one more point. It is also the challenges we have with the business as well. They expect everything. Like if you look at 3-4 years back, a Java developer was supposed to do only Java development. We call now a full stack development. You expect everything to do by one person in that. So people are not ready to upskill and reskill them. They wanted a person, a superman who can do overnight. So what happens is, I was an example for that. I was trying to hire a React.js person. It's the latest technology, 2 years backward. They want 3-4 years React.js guys. So where do you get that? And believe me, in Hyderabad itself, there are some dedicated centers who actually take React.js interviews for 50,000 rupees to 1 lakh. And they have a beautiful technology. Like technology, to hire technology itself is a disruption. So we stopped taking all the video interviews or even the things. We said, first of all, you remove your headset because that is where we realized like there are things happening. And when we started asking fundamental questions, that guy answers everything on the world, but he doesn't know where the office address he is there.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know what kind of bank account he has. So those were some fundamental questions. I think forget about the pressure what you have, but as a HR, you also need to have your simple thought process.
Absolutely.
And your common sense.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Maybe Garima, you were wanting to continue the same. Any example you would like to quote of employee demanding more within a few weeks of joining in? Continuation.
In fact, on the day of joining also, they start demanding the joining bonus. And they say that we have an offer, but since I have given a word to you, so you give me joining bonus, I'll join you. So that kind of situations also I've faced. Actually, why I want to add to Lakshman's point, there is a competition in the talent acquisition team, okay, but then somewhere down the line, we think, okay, that person is rejecting, or let's say he is doing window shopping, he may do with my offer also. Right? So that kind of maturity has started developing in the talent acquisition team, in the HR, okay, that how to play smart. If somebody is playing smart, you have to actually change your strategies. You can't succumb to pressures and get disappointments. So what he said, like headphone removal. Now we always take all the people, like some people say we are unreachable, or we have network problem, we can't show our faces. Then don't take their interviews. You want to hear their voice and see their faces. And when we have to give on the day of joining, we have to match also. Because I have an experience where we hired a guy, like everything was perfect, like we just thought like he's a perfect superman for us, like he was at 13 lakhs and we offered 30 lakhs and all that. When the person, like after 1 week, like he's not able to do anything. So people have proxy arrangements also, okay, who can keep guiding them. So somewhere down the line, like a psychometric tool also has to be developed, or I would say a monitoring tool apart from psychometric, where they can capture who, if any other face is showing, like somewhere they can capture. It will be helpful.
Fantastic, fantastic way of putting it across. Maybe Anusha, you would like to add on to it? Your experiences with some examples?
Okay, I was planning to add on to the previous point. But
sure, please go ahead.
I mean, when Lakshman mentioned, we should not, go and off, or somebody who's open about their offers is not always negative, I think. I think it's quite tells the honesty about the person. They tell what their perspective is, what they're looking for, sort of things. So sometimes it's okay to know what their offers are, where are they from, and people these days are very open about what organizations they have offers from. So that also gives us an aspect, should we really pursue this guy or no? If you have an offer from Google, come on, I can't ask you to come and join my organization. They have their priorities, so sort of things. And coming to the second question.
Yeah, second question, which is, if with your kind of example, if somebody is saying that I have plenty of other offer, do you, within a week, within 10 days?
So, yes, I
they are
don't think
negotiating
we should, I mean,
for
we
more.
as recruiters don't pursue such short notice people still interviewing too many companies and all that. But I think we should know when we can buy our, we can sell our organization, when we can sell our role to the candidate, and we know they have a better offer. I've recently, he'll join next week, but I've recently hired a program manager who had 50 lakhs offer. I hired him for 40, and he's joining me next Thursday. So it's like, I know I'm bringing him down at 10 lakhs, but then that's our skill. I think we do, we go above board, we sometimes go below board and negotiate. I think we are negotiators with the business and the candidates all the time. So.
Wonderful, thank you. My next question to you, Lakshman, Dr. Lakshman, is, see, every company invests in the incentives to retain, in the sense of joining bonus or night shift bonus or winning strategies for them or reimbursement of their training fees and employee engagement, many things. Despite that, do you see the royalty of what is the impact on them, on the employees, number one, and despite that, do you see the loyalty from their part towards the company?
Okay. I think I want to connect one small example. If you take my hand, in my own hand, all 5 fingers are different. So you cannot show or apply same strategies to all the market candidates. Each individual has a different career driver. If you look at me, I look at a meaningful job. Somebody might look at power. Somebody wants an expertise in their job. Somebody wants a job security. So each individual has different traits. So when you're offering a job, this joining bonus, relocation, this is all a bouquet of benefits which will be a temporary breather for an individual. So if you want to really engage a candidate, you need to understand what is their motive. Until you understand the individual motive, you will not be able to attract. See, even candidates are super smart. They know like all these components are one-time components. So that will not increase your salary. And today there's a lot of uncertainty that we don't even know there were days which we used to give joining bonus in the first month's salary. Now we stopped giving first month's salary. We're saying, okay, extend it to 3 more months or maybe split it as 1 month, 3rd month, 6 months. So we were also trying to align to the market needs, but I don't think that is a very big game changer, and they also know that this is a temporary fix. So candidates are super smart. Unless we leave the rat race saying that I want to have this. So in fact, I keep talking to my own business saying that why don't you reskill? Why don't you upskill?
Yeah.
I'll hire the people. Now we are partnering with a lot of colleges. We are setting the incubation centers right from 2 or even 3-1 itself. So we have our talent pool ready. So wherever we are working with the business, especially the RMG team, is very critical for us because they are the people who are going to tell where is your potential supply coming from.
Absolutely.
And also the biggest challenge which I see in big service companies is they work in silos.
Yeah.
I want to have the control of the resource. I will not let go. And when you go and probe, that person would have been contributing only 30-40%. I think that is where you have this moonlighting coming because the moment you have the additional capacity, the ideal mind, right? Somebody was telling is a devil workshop. The moment I have that free out time, I start thinking on that.
Thank you so much for contribution. Maybe, yes, you would like, please, Anusha. You can speak on the mic.
It is not about Mike. I am in line with him. I think benefits are a very tiny part, and these days candidates have their sheets ready. The moment you start speaking CTC, they calculate minus their taxes and they say, Anusha, I'm only getting this much in hand. So, people are smart.
Yeah. So how about you, Garima?
Hello.
Yeah, please go
yeah,
ahead.
see, the benefits part, what Lakshman said, I agree, because, and what Janusha mentioned, that it's like, in hand, how much will I get, right? And sometimes when you say that tax we cannot calculate, then they want us, you calculate tax also. It's very simple, ma'am, and tell me how much will I get in hand. So all these benefits are good. But basically what I felt that there is a need of regulation, there is a need of visibility to the HR team as a whole, that is my employee occupied or not? Is the kind of work which we have to do, is he occupied for 8 hours or not? Because as rightly said, if the employee is not occupied or we do not have the work for him, he will definitely find the work. And see, sometimes what happens that people take up 2-3 jobs, right, like moonlighting, but then you can trace it from the productivity level. Like if he was performing better, now his performance has gone down. Maybe something is happening. You cannot just say moonlighting something in his personal space also, or he is doing moonlighting. Wherein you need to check and you have to be proactive as an HR to have one-to-one conversation, a straight conversation. What is really happening? And you have to make certain things very clear. And as a HR fraternity, I feel that we all need to come together and see as a common problem, a big problem, rather than just I getting my target completed. Okay, I got the talent crunch, now my target is completed. Because you got your target completed, and as just now the attrition rate is 25%, right? Yeah. So I don't know at what time, maybe 3 months, after 3 months the employee will ask the hike or he will leave. You will be again in the same situation of advertising, jogging through the job boards, calling people, again making the person come. So it's a combined responsibility of the HR fraternity, I feel. And overall, I feel that employees should not feel it as a regulatory system that it's for the employee or the HR. It is for their benefit. Because if we don't get business from other countries, if we lose that cost advantage, then ultimately the unemployment rate will go high. Already a lot of layoffs are happening. And with ChatGPT coming, where is this AI automation? There is like, it will not replace jobs, but it will definitely be, well, like if 3 people or 10 people were doing some job, now 2 people can do it because the mundane jobs is taken by ChatGPT. So now it's more or all required to have a ecosystem where we have visibility and we have some kind of control and ethics.
Yeah. So in continuation, I would ask you the next question. So yes, there needs to be a check system, a kind of a regulatory system for visibility, as you were mentioning. So how do you think we can make this cycle, the employer-employee transaction cycle, easy? You would like to throw some insights on that? How do you think, out of your experience?
Yeah, see, the visibility, what you said, employer-employee. So right now what is happening, since we don't know, is like candidate says, I have an offer, right? We give an offer or we do counter offer. Now sometimes candidates lie also. They may not be having an offer. But sometimes we are into such much desperate that we offer without even seeing the offer letter. Because they will say, I cannot send you my offer letter, it is confidential, right? So visibility can be when like we all are connected. That is a system when Suresh told me and Verma told me that we have a system that you can track that how much offers the person is really holding, because there would be ID generated when I will give the offer from my company, and if you have the same software which they are giving it for free for the benefit of the HR community and the corporates, then you can see, okay, that person is already having an offer, or that then again he's scouting offer for me. That means like he will scout from 2-3 people, and let's what one of the chief guests said, Mr. Raju, that at that time, like we should say that we will not offer you if you have offer. We will stop this. Maybe it will take time, but at least I will have a person who will join me at least, rather than having 2-3 offers and nobody is joining or no show.
Yeah, thank you. So, Dr. Lakshman, would you like to throw some light on the ease of the transaction cycle? The same thing, employer-employee transaction cycle.
Okay. So first thing is, again, when you say the candidates has an offer, we need to also understand what is that offer. I think you need to spend time, instead of straight away discarding that I don't want to talk to a person who has an offer. Understand. And most importantly, what I feel as a HR or as a company is you need to position what is your strength as an organization. Suppose if I want to position my company, I'm one of the largest solution service provider of digital engineering. So I can guarantee technology. But if you ask me a salary of a product company or a salary of a top tech company, I'm not able to match. But where I can take you from the journey of the interview for next 5 years, I can urge that. I think that is where the positioning of the candidate, it really matters.
Yeah.
And candidates don't decline offer just because of money. That is a perception.
Yes.
Money is always a driving factor, but that is not all everything. As Anisha
Absolutely.
mentioned,
Yes.
somebody from 50 lakhs to 40 lakhs is coming. He knows where he stands or she stands. So that way, the position of the opportunity is very important. As an employer, also, you need to put a top-down approach, translate your vision and the objective. Unless you know what is the plan you have as an organization, and you cascade in the talent war, saying that it is not possible, I'm not getting, you'll always lose. And again, it is always, I keep telling my team, you need to look for a passive talent. You need to look for a passive talent.
Yeah.
You're going and searching in Naukri. And I was surprised, Naukri team came up with a feature which tells like, who is serving notice period, who can join in 15 days, who can join 30 days. So I think they are very adaptable. They are trying to evolve and change as per the dynamic needs.
Thank you so much.
I'm sure you have a time crunch for sure, but we can catch up.
Got it. Yeah, thank you so much. Would you like to add, Anusha?
I'd like to add another perspective, maybe not from candidate employer, but if it's employee-employer, then transparency would play a key role. About the organization also. So when every organization these days do town halls, all hands, every monthly, so that they can project their data. They can project their sales, how many customers have they got, how is their business doing, and sort of things. So when the hike cycles have come, just like Lakshman, this year it was all 1%, single digits, and people were so unhappy. They used to good hikes. So people do stay back with the organizations. They understand the organization is going through a tough phase. They've been with them through the years. They've got good hikes. So for 1 year, they can, skip that, and they can trust in organization that next year they're going to do well for the employees. So that kind of transparency these days is being adopted by so many companies at mid-level. Whichever organizations are 1,000 to 2,000 employees, I think they're still doing this as a regular practice, so which is a good thing.
Definitely. So based on this discussion, it's a win-win-win kind of situation. It has to be for employer, mainly for employee-centric, for the financial, the social, and the career growth for the employee as well. Mainly, it is about a regulatory system which we are looking at.
And if I can just add a point, when it comes to benefits, right? Maybe these benefits are not so much adding relocation and all of that stuff. But I think HR ops teams are putting in a lot of effort to engage employees a lot. Lots of fun activities, fun do's, taking them out for lunches, dinners, resorts, whatnot. They're putting in all the efforts to engage employees.
Absolutely. So let's all work towards a win-win-win situation for all of them, and on top of it, impacting India globally such that we don't lose out the opportunities to the offshore competing countries. Thank you so much for participating in this panel discussion. Thank you so much, each of you.
Now, I would like to call upon Ashok Tatipalli garu onto the stage.
Mr. Ashok Thatipalli is the CEO of Vision Infotech, a full-time position he has held since February 2000, with over 23 years of experience. The company is based in Hyderabad area, India. Before joining Vision Infotech, Ashok Thatipalli garu worked as a consultant for GE Healthcare for 2 years from 1998 to 2000 in Greater Malikwar area.
Thank you. Now I would like to call upon Ravi Venkatraman garu onto the stage, please.
Mr. Ravi Venkatramanan is an experienced professional in the field of IT and business services. He is currently the CEO and whole-time director of Kavi Innotech Limited, previously known as HCL Services Limited, a position he has held since February 2016. He has been with the company for over 7 years and 3 months, during which time he has played a very vital role in the company's growth and success.
Thank you. Now I would like to call upon Lekha ma'am onto the stage, please.
Ms. Lekha Sista is a talent strategist, culture architect, and business transformation advisor with years of experience in the field. She is also a founding member of Diversify Club, which she helps women grow into the corporate boardrooms. In her independent consulting work, Lekha Sista has been providing her expertise as a talent strategist since October 2019.
Thank you. So let's make this panel discussion a little meaningful, but I will actually make it very short. When we actually started this initiative, we met a couple of the personalities. One of them was Lekha ma'am. We were so motivated. The first word that we could hear from her was the need of the day. Go ahead. And she's been very motivating for her. Thank you so much, ma'am. So with that, I just wanted to understand. We heard the HR team, the recruiter team just now saying that we have a lot of problems, we go through a lot of pressure. It's very tough to get a talent, the right talent onto the board. So having the impact that we are seeing right now, be it moonlighting, absconding, too many offers, there's no ethics. So what do you think the impact could be for the nation and for the IT sector? I would ask that question to Ashok first, then we'll go with Lekha ma'am.
Like you said, we are a 23-year-old company, and when I started this, we wanted to be in India, we wanted to work out of India, right? Now, since he said nation, and I don't want to repeat all the problems that we are facing now. I echo everybody's concerns. I totally agree that what the companies are suffering. And also I equally agree Raju comment on that, the company also has a major contribution for these problems, right? But when you said nation, now we have actually started our center in Vietnam. Because we have trouble hiring people in India. So that's the big loss to the nation. So we really don't know how many countries we go, if the problem persists and continue.
Thank you. So what would you say, ma'am, Lekha ma'am?
I think completely, I echo everything. Again, like he said, the problems are real, but I think we've got to stop looking at the short-term win, right? We've always had a demographic dividend as far as the strength of IT, the pool is concerned. However, we are definitely losing the economic strength. The sustainability of our organizations, of our country is going to be impacted. I know I am considered to be a dinosaur in the field, but there are people here in this room who should also be as concerned about what is going to happen to their future 5 years from now. Are they going to be able to have the same kind of jobs? Please understand, every time they come in and they ask for a higher salary, every time they come in and negotiate, like somebody said, and I like that word, auctioning with offers in hand. I think it's a very real problem that we have, which is going to, and I think Ravi will hold on to that, I think we forget that it's not just the IT industry. Right? Today, if you saw yesterday's newspaper, they said that more IT professionals are being hired by other industries in India. So if this same habit is going to continue, forget about the global world. We are going to actually have small retailers, we're going to have businesses, we're going to have manufacturing industries, all of them finally hiring people from outside to solve their problems while we have the talent internally. So it's going to become a problem which is going to impact almost every other industry. The rate card is not going to change. My employee spend is going to increase because of this. Where are we finally going to be getting our business sustainability from? And I do understand from the business perspective that you do need to have your projects delivered and you want to do it right on time. But as somebody else had stated earlier, I think it's very important to also look at how is that bonding happening inside the company. Because the bonding doesn't happen, the person is leaving. The time between the person has switched off in his mind to actually put down his resignation is about 2-3 months. Yes. After that, it is about 2-3 months before the organization accepts that. But they have not even started the process of hiring. When they finally go, this person has about 15 days to 1 month to actually leave the organization. Yeah. What is that business going to do? Remember, he's already switched off. So there's no productivity for the last 4-5 months anyway, right? And then the process of hiring is going to take another 90 days. You hire the person for 90 days. That person has a notice period of another 90 days to onboard the person and get him to the same level of delivery. It's going to be another 3 months minimum. So which means you've lost 1 year from the time the person has switched off. And you're not sure that this person to whom you're paying 2x and 3x is actually going to deliver that same x. So it's a huge problem.
No, yesterday I was talking to a potential customer. No, I showcased what the services that we offer and what all we did, and But he said, "Can you send me your bench strength?" He says, "No, I agree that you can all do that, right? But when I actually give you the contract, you say, I need 3 months, I need to onboard the guy. We spend all the time to interview the person, and you say, no, this guy." So now the customers are actually asking, "No, I want to see the real." I mean, they actually want to see the people before even they want to start the negotiation.
Correct. They literally want to see the bench, and they also wanted to check if they are really your employees or you're actually giving the wrong names.
And my bench is very small. How can I afford like big benches?
Talk about bench. There's another problem that happens is that the persons on the bench don't like to be on the bench, right?
Yes.
Because they have to have their resumes continuously updated.
Correct. Yeah.
So we are in a conundrum.
Yeah.
So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We do understand that we are the three who's standing between you and the lunch. So I'm sure that you can bear with us for a few more minutes. I think probably I will have a different setup for conundrum to what you had. The amount of flux.
You can use the mic.
I think my voice is good.
No.
Yeah. The amount of flux which people talking about moonlighting, people talking about multiple jobs, multiple avenues of earning is happening where? We need to understand that a little critically. In one end, we generate about 4.6 million engineers every year in this country. 3% of those engineers are hired by whom? Google, Amazon, Dell, Lenovo, name the top 5 multinational companies. 33 to 34% of rest of the engineers are hired by top tier companies in the country. Where the balance goes? An average of 21% of people in this country, they do not get an employment. Engineers are working as Swiggy delivery boys. I've seen it with my own eyes. So there is a parity which is not emerging very clearly. The quality of engineer from Delhi or from Hyderabad or from Chennai, for that matter, from Jumritalaya, they're all IT engineers, computer science. Put them under one room, you will understand the variance of technological skill, which is a real challenge.
It does.
Let's understand that. Second thing which I really wanted to point out to this forum is, COVID has taught us something which we never thought we will learn in our life. How many of you in Hyderabad are staying in high-rise buildings? Please raise the hands. During COVID, have you seen the tenancy rate come down drastically? 95%? Bombay was deserted. I'm from Bombay. What deserted? No, those who migrated to urban cities for the want of job. During COVID, they disappeared. Did they lose a job?
No.
No, they did not. What taught them? They can work from home. They can be son of the soil. They can be closer to the parents. They have nil expenses towards staying, housing expenses, commuting to office, etc., etc. Fine. I got my first luxury. I sat comfortably. Now what next? Now 40 hours a week, I'm logging in, logging out. 9 o'clock in the morning, I log into my laptop. 5:30 in the evening, I log off. That's the only metrics HR measures whether you are online or not online. You're working or not working, what else I can do? And that's when companies, specifically, I want to throw another strategy. In the year 20 to 2023, in the past 3 years, we are closer to 1,100 startups in this country. 1,100 startups, which, I mark my words very carefully, which required 470,000 resources to complete a task, not employees. 470,000 resources means skills to complete certain level of tasks, including development, rolling out platform like you guys did with 115 people. Not every startup hired people. And these are the guys who went and flooded the market in terms of asking for people to come and serve me. Hey, kar de yaar.
Do
Right?
it in your own time.
Yeah, do it in one time. One referred another, another referred another. I'll give another statistic, which I think all of us need to understand. This country is poised to employ 304 million tech guys in the next decade. 304 million. It's a whopping number. But do you also understand another statistics? Only 27 million of them will be deployable, employable. The country is going towards lack of skills, please understand.
Yes.
Those who are getting hired, those who are getting multiple offers, those who are working too many jobs are called SMEs,
Yes.
subject matter experts. Those who are not getting such opportunity are part of a team called Monday. I think the lady spoke about the GPT, right? Chat GPT. Let me tell you, about 107,000 different type of jobs are already done away in many corporates in this country. Right? How many of you heard the terminology called accountant in your enterprise? 10 years before, what's your dad? He's working as an accountant in Godrej. Vikroli used to be famous for that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
How many of you heard about admin head in any organization anymore? Many enterprises are done away with that. So they are moving towards the core to the business. SMEs are on high demand. And SMEs are absolutely inevitable for success of business. So therefore, as you rightly mentioned, there's a pressure for businesses to hire people. Now the first and foremost thing is, our business are ethical. They need to come to your platform.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I am as a business head of Carvi InnoTech Limited, if I decide to be ethical and I don't want to engage somebody on a gig, people talk about contract, right?
Yeah.
India will become the biggest market for gig. By the year 2030, please hold your breath, $430 billion as a gig worker will emerge from this country. Will be 1.7 times bigger than US. US currently employing 57 million plus people on gig. India's official statistics says only 3 million people, but it's not true. It's not true.
Yep.
Almost this 1.3 million IT workforce, they are all gig economy on the sites. So there need to be recognition. And one of the suggestions which I really want to put forward to you, instead of making
Yep.
the enterprise as your subscriber, ensure those who are applying for the job, if they really want that integrity metrics to go to the top,
Yep.
they should be registered with you.
Yes. So,
That's where the game begins.
yes.
If I'm enrolled into you, then my credibility already gets a green tick. Right? I'm coming to you for the job. I don't have any other offer. And you are the first employer. And if I have a disagreement, I can always exit.
Yeah.
The point is, the doubling, tripling, gig worker, and I was really surprised when somebody quoted 32 PF accounts in an individual name
Yes.
and 7 in an individual name. And I wonder, what does our UAN does in the back end? Which is connected to your PAN, connected to your Aadhaar,
32
and how can I
jobs,
have,
7 PF accounts.
how is it possible? I mean, humanly,
he
it's
got
eye-opener
32
for
jobs.
me.
Yeah.
He's got 32 people.
32, it's
32
like
jobs he's
unimaginable.
having. Doesn't matter about the PF accounts. He's also subletting his job.
Yeah. So to Ravi, the same question. So having that exponential growth opportunities in the IT sector, now we've seen a very bad phase at this point of a time. Small companies like us or the medium companies like theirs, we are literally troubling. So what do you think is very important that we should take care at this point of a time?
Again, I'm sorry, I'm stopping you guys from having lunch. I'm going to take a little longer than 2
Yes,
minutes.
yes, go
like
ahead.
this.
Yes, yes.
When you really look at hiring people, right? The trouble we face is only when we do a lateral hiring. I mean, all of you will agree.
Yeah, yeah.
Lateral hiring is because you're putting the business under pressure. And business wants to recruit, hey, I want somebody like yesterday, right? And the problem will continue to be the same when you consider, I need an experience to come on board. She said 1 year. You hire a lateral hire, he's extremely good in appearing 50 interviews. When you are the 51st, is too smart to answer all your questions. Like you're bold. It's like absolutely clean bold. He comes on board, you take 3 months time to understand what he committed during the interview process, what he said he can deliver, whether he can deliver or not. I run about 3,000 plus people, I have the problem. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yep.
Until and unless enterprises don't start looking within of setting up a process of building skills,
Correct.
that's the only way forward for you not to fall prey for such
So,
influences.
from your response, what I understand is skill people first, and this actually solves the minimum of the problem.
I think my friend over there will agree. In good old days, we used to have something called job rotation.
Yeah.
I'm asking you, sir.
Krishna.
Raju, we used to have a job rotation.
Yeah.
Why job rotation in large enterprises? That I am willing to move from one role to another role to grow, keep on growing.
Yeah.
And we stopped doing it all of a sudden. We now talk about skill rotation. That means you are a Java guy for 3 years and I can't give you the next level to you because you are Java. You're killed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you are an infra-managed services guy, good enough to manage only the data center of your organization, you're killed there. So we are not willing to do the skill rotation. That's where you need to open the door internally and allow people to learn. And there are a lot of multiple ways of ensuring that your employee interest.
Thank you. Thanks for that, detailed input. So my next question would be for Lekha Garu. Do you really see a system, a mechanism in India that actually can help us to what Ravi Garu is projecting, that it is going to be a huge potential in another like 10, 15 years from now? Do you think any organization or any controlling system that we have to nullify the problem that we are having at this point of time, be it skilling, be it unethical issues, or be it everything, that will help us to get to that level over a period of 10 or 15 years from now?
So I'd like to respond first to 2 points that he had stated. One is about the gig workers, and I do understand that it is going to be, we are in that stage of gig economy. And I think the people who are conducting these gigs should understand that I, as a employer, when I hire you full-time, and you're going ahead and doing 2-3 gigs, I am lifting the cost of the entire employee, whether it is insurance, PF, your, even the liability that I have, your desk cost, everything I'm lifting. I am giving you 8 hours off or 16 hours off to be able to go ahead and recuperate and come back. You go ahead and have a gig on the rest of the time. Why should I pay you, or why should I be the person who's going to be taking that cost toll? Please go ahead and become a gig worker for me too. And the other point, I think, which is a very valid point, is that HR looks generally at only the time at desk. Not correct. I think what we need to do, and what is happening in most places, is we need to look more at the deliverables of people, right? So those are the 2 points. Yeah, because that is finally the work that you want done, right? And then you try and estimate what is the time. So it's got to be a work, money, time, effort.
Yeah.
The point that you raised about what is actually happening, and I think that was also brought in by Lakshman, we have today resources which are telling us who are the people who are on notice period. Very clearly, people who are on notice period, 15 days, 10 days, 1 month, the recruiters get that data. Do they stay away from the data? No. That becomes their database, because they want the people, like we said yesterday, because the business can't hold on.
Yeah.
So that becomes the database to pull people in. And then what have you done? So see how the problem is being compounded. You've got this database of people who are already on notice period. You're picking them up from there. They already have an offer of, let's say, 30% from the first offer, then 10% again on the second offer, 10% again on that. Finally, 50-60% they've already got from the current company that they are in. They come back to the same company that they were at, because it's easier for them to continue to work in that company, and then negotiate for 60% or 70%. Now, in case that company is going to give them that salary, what happens to the equity or the parity with people who currently are there? So therefore, why should I stay for a single digit income, increase? I will also go into the market. So the problem is only being compounded by these resources, which are actually telling me how many people have how many offers. I don't see that problem going away, because that becomes the poaching pool for our recruiters, sadly. And I do agree that I think we need to look at making the people who are coming out of engineering colleges more employable. Over the pandemic, we have seen most companies are letting go of people at the, let's say, L5, L6 levels, because I don't need the people to start thinking strategy any longer. L7, L8, I let them go. Where do I need people at the L2 and L3 level? The people who are the operations people, right? Because I don't need the strategy any longer. Strategy is already fixed. I let go of the people at, let's say, 70 lakhs, 80 lakhs. I'll get people at the 7 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 13 lakhs in order to make up for that. Because I need people on the bench, like you said, or people who are going to be handy. But where am I going to get that if they're not employable? I need to go back to the colleges and hire the armies from the colleges and probably use the colleges and the universities to train them for the skills that I need, not what they think they need.
Yeah.
So the talent pool that we're saying, the talent skilling that is there is both from the college institution level and also internally. Like you were talking about the Java guy. I might let the Java guy go because I don't have an insight for him for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Is he willing to switch to something that is more current and more, let's say, tomorrow's thing?
Mm-hmm.
No, he prefers the obsolescence here because he knows he'll get a job outside.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm losing people. So it is, I think the only way forward is to be able to ensure that engineering colleges close the gap between what industry needs and helps us to be able to keep the pipeline going and at the same time reduce the costs.
Yeah. So,
I think probably I just wanted to add. Your question is that is there any centralized approach?
Centralized approach.
Okay. I am really not sure that how many of you are passed out from government colleges and schools. Anybody here? Nobody. I'm a municipal school student. I passed out from a municipal school, right? The concentrated effort Government of India spends per annum is about 17,000 crores. Average JSG is here. You can certify Telangana government last year alone spent close to about 1,100 crores in upskilling the rural population of this country. There is a concentrated effort, but anything comes from government, we tend to believe that, that's going to be substandard, which is not true. As you mentioned earlier, India is not only about IT, right? Our services revenue contributes 37% of to your GDP, the services aspect. The manufacturing base, which was there in 2014, I'm not propaganding for any political party, please don't misunderstand me, which was in 2014 and 2023, the manufacturing base from a percentage of 2 is come up to 17%. Now, which institute, which university, which college in this country trained them? No. It's a concentrated effort by the government. The problem is, she rightly pointed out, it's a sector-specific, be it a government or private sector. They need to come together, be it educational institution or otherwise, in terms of building the nation for the future ready.
Yep.
In one of my earlier panel discussions, which I, of course, published that in my channel, is that there are some 3 top emerging jobs in this country which is going to come out. The first and foremost is artificial intelligence. He spoke about ChatGPT kind of a stuff. ChatGPT will replace your email attending, your invoice processing, account payable, account receivable, everything will be moved to ChatGPT kind of a Google Bard or ChatGPT, you name them, right? But subject matter experts will still be in demand. The first and foremost, artificial intelligence is a big ticket item in this country.
Yep, it is.
And second, with the onset of 5G and data affordability and the speed which is multiplying and the number of access devices which gone from office to home, the next job in demand is going to be cybersecurity.
Yep, yep. So I wanted to grab
one more line. The third is, with the amount of UPI transaction which you keep on doing, right? There are dime a dozen products in the fintech industry. So actuarial science is going to be in demand. Tell me one institute in this country which teaches you AI, cybersecurity, or actuarial science. We have an institute called Actuarial Science of India in Bombay. Right? These are the 3 most sought after jobs for the future. We have built our AI center in our own company, right? We are not finding talent. So these challenges need to be mitigated systematically by jointly working.
Yes.
That's what the point which I really wanted to table.
Thank you. So I'm just grabbing the discussion to the point. So do you think, is there any regulatory system or any system that is prevalent in India for us to overcome the challenges that we are going through as an organization, as a nation? I would ask Ashok this question.
But there are regulatory systems, but I don't think the current problems that IT industry, the problems that we discussed, I don't think we have anything that will address the problems, right?
Okay, sure. I'm just going to make it another quick 5 minutes. Sorry.
Absolutely not, okay? I don't think there's anybody who can answer this problem, and I'm hoping NERS is going to be the way forward, and it has to be definitely a top-down. It's got to be, while you said that yes, every individual employee needs to sign on, I do believe that unless the government makes sure that every employer first signs on, and every employer says, I'm not going to hire anybody but somebody who has shown the highest degree of integrity by registering on NERS, I don't think the problem is going to go away. But I'm hoping that you are going to solve the problem for us.
That's exactly our approach. So we wanted to connect with the regulatory systems, be it NASSCOM, HIC, TITA. We wanted to...
For example, Indian government, by the year 2025, they are going to make it mandatory for every enterprises to be ESG compliant. Now, ESG is a big buzzword. No more the CRISIL rating or anything which is coming into existence. Similarly, somebody need to make it mandatory, then organization will fall in line to do that. You know, that's C.
So my immediate next question would be, do you think these systems, or maybe the government or the organizations, should be really focusing on employee or an employer, or maybe the regulatory system, or maybe getting the discipline, getting maybe ethical the practice? So do you think it is just an employee, or it has to be both the ways?
What you are narrating comes under the MOS, which is called Commonly Accessible Database. Now, commonly accessible database for the workers in this country is a non-existent. Unlike advanced economy like Western economy or whatever. For some reason or the other, individual state level used to have something called employment exchanges. I don't know how many of you registered in that. When I got graduated, I did that. I registered.
I did when I was in degree.
I never walked back to them again, thankfully. So the commonly accessible database also comes under the privacy law. Now, this privacy law also controls something called security aspect of the IT, which unfortunately, fortunately, in India, while Chandrasekhar MOS is working on the framework, we don't have a common minimum framework available for that. While we have bodies like NASSCOM, while we have bodies like CIA or many other representation for IT and non-IT industry in this country, do we have sufficient database which will fulfill or propel the requirement what we are talking about? To that my question is, the answer is no. Probably not. But do we realize that we need one? My answer to that, yes, we need one time now. We need to have, because the working database will get further classified to the domestic consumption and to the international consumption. Where there is a rich amount of people returning to India will increase in the next 5, 6, 10 years. Right? Therefore, this database will become all the more important. I think there are certain level of work which is happening at a central level.
So what you're saying, it should be both ways. It should be for both the employees, and it should be a common database with the privacy. Thank you. You have an answer.
I think it's not just the employee and the employer. I think whoever is making this database needs to look at it, and the fact that the push has to come from the government. It has to be a future vision. It's got to be something which is more long-term, more big than just the companies that are there currently. It's got to be something that if we as a country need to survive, what needs to be done? And therefore, I don't think it's about a specific company, a specific employer, or a specific employee. It's got to be much larger than that. And talking about one thing about the database, I remember some time back, we had NASSCOM, I think, that had created a database of blacklisted
NSR,
employees,
National
right?
Skills Registry. That used
So
to
we
call
had
National
that,
Skills Registry.
where we had people who were, probably absconding, etc. The list was there. Did that help? And is it something that is there now? I think the question needs to be asked, because I think that became again another pool for recruiters like you to actually pick up people from easily.
So I'll pass on the same question to Ashok. So the question is, do you think the policy or maybe the regulatory system towards the employee or towards the employer, so how this system has to be built? Or the regulatory system has to be built?
Discipline for both the parties, right? Let's say, if I don't hire an employee, if the employee, prospective employee doesn't have a minimum relieving letter, right? Or, this guy is a job hopper, like, he changed 4 jobs in a year, right? So the companies have to follow certain discipline, right? This employee just accept an offer and somehow only work for a week or 2 and then coming back to me. Should I really hire that person or not, right? So some we have to have some self-discipline, and that will solve most of the problems. But at the same time, it's like you are finding a groom, right? You do all verification, right? So same here, right? I'm getting married to my company, right? This guy so I definitely need to verify this simple background of like whether this guy went to university or did work. No, all this is fine, but what is this guy's attitude, right? Character, right? So somewhere now there is a glass door, right? And now I have 1,000 employees happy, and the general human tendency is, if you are happy, you will, most of the times, you will not say it out. But there is a one person really not happy, goes to the glass door, writes everything about the company, right? And then people look at that feedback and decide whether to join this company or not, right? Yeah. But where is I write about that employee because this guy, joined the company and took all the assets of the organization. I had lot of trouble getting back them, and and no show. All that problems I've gone through with this employee. Where do I document so that other company will look at and will not consider to hire that person, right? Yeah. So it's both. I mean, okay, you are free to write about organization, right? I also need to know about the employee, how they say whether should I hire or not, right?
Yep. So you're saying it should be the both side, both from the employee and the employer. So my final question, looking at the time. So do you think will a regulatory system or a system something like us is giving a visibility about the employer as well as the employee would be accepted by this IT ecosystem? Maybe I would like to hear from Ravi. You want to take this?
I think the fact that we are here today, kudos to you and your team, who launched the product today. The fact is there is a essential element of a demand which is arising out of these experiences what we as an Indian enterprise. But I'm a very strong believer. The future is India. For any amount of tech or non-tech element, you speak at the global stage, right? The future is India. I think whether you want to say acceptability will be there between employer and employee, the fact remains is that this is the need of the hour. There are few things we can't do away with. The more and more systems like yours, which will bring a connect through transparency, that's the most important
thing. Yes, it is.
And the process of hiring for a non-Indian tech firm or non-tech firm who is outside of India, will have all the more confident in terms of ease of hiring.
Yep.
He knows that he is getting the right amount of skill.
Yes.
He knows that he is getting a right amount of ethically trained skill. Mm-hmm. And he also knows that he is hiring a skill which is credibility is proven.
Yep.
Therefore, such kind of a platforms is very important. I mean, and the timing is perfect.
Yes.
I know you guys really need to struggle a bit to bring it up to speed.
We are ready for it.
Bring it up to speed, but I'll give myself a couple of years.
Yes.
But I'm sure by 2025, you will have 1/3 or 2/3 of the enterprises in the country would have been part of your
Thank you so much for the
base.
confidence.
And I will ensure that every forum when I get,
yep.
I will definitely
Thank you so
speak
much.
a couple of lines about this.
Thanks so much.
Because it really excites me as a tech firm entrepreneur and come CEO. It excites me. So the need of the hour, it's required. Therefore, acceptability is taken for granted.
Thank you.
Don't even think whether employees will accept or employees will accept. Listen, I'm not looking at your CV. If you're not part of the system, end of the story.
Yep. Yep.
Right? And I'm not looking at college campus recruitment, which you must have had loads of examples or training. I said, if you are going to make the same student sit across 6 different enterprises and you're going to sit on a pile of 6 different offers, come back and negotiate, hey, my minimum this year is 7.5 lakhs per annum. I'm so sorry, the same guy whom you given 4.5, I will blacklist the enterprise. Sorry, the institute, I won't go back to them.
Yep.
So you need to bring the ecosystem. That's important for you to
Correct.
understand. Probably I'm giving away some business ideas. It's not the employer, it's not the employee, it's a complete ecosystem which need to prevail upon such practices to bring a straight line credibility factor.
Yep.
Therefore, your ethics are taken for granted, whether it's for Indian enterprise or enterprise which is non-Indian. And
Yep.
that's what my firm belief is.
Thank you.
I'll give it to Lekha.
We also spending a lot of money on the BGCs, right? If you have if you have that system in your place, so I don't again need to hire a company to do the background check,
Yes.
right? And also every company does, right? Every company. So every company does from the school, verifies all his credentials, right? So it's actually sometimes they take about 2 to 4 weeks
Yes.
to get the report, and that sometimes it's not really acceptable, right? No, if you can, if system can give me that and instantly, right? Because you are already building the history of the person, right?
He's already given you a full stack development work.
Thank you for that. So we are actually including the credibility report for the employee. So it looks exactly like a CIBIL, right? So when we want to take a loan or something from the bank, they will actually check your credit score. So it is going to be the same system and not really required to do a background verification and all.
Yeah, I accept an offer. I didn't take an offer. -10. Right?
Yes,
Okay,
that's
so
kind of
keep
a credit
on-
report. Yes,
Huh?
exactly. That's kind of a credit report. I think you have to say something.
Yeah, I was saying that, like you said, I think we need to be able to inculcate this throughout the entire ecosystem. It's got to be right from the academic institutions through to the employers and the employees.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, it will need to be forced.
Yes.
So that is where I'm expecting and hoping that associations and the government should force employers and employees to be part of this.
Yeah.
Because until that is done, it's not going
It's
to be
not good.
successful.
A small data point I wanted to change.
Yeah, sure.
Share with you.
Yeah.
Many of you might have read in the newspaper and electronic media. 2 of the leading IT enterprises in this country
Uh-huh.
took close to 407,000 offer letters.
Uh-huh.
Till date, they are not on board.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I went around doing I connect all these companies. I wanted to check why they didn't do it. It came as a surprise. Many of the institutions where the average recruitment cost is about 370,000 INR per year,
Oh.
they made the student go through multiple efforts of sitting for multiple different companies. When the HR of these top 3 tech companies, they start to discuss with each other, they found the same offer letter was actually gone to the same guy, and the HR came back and said, no, sorry, we can't accept this.
Mhm,
We need to
mhm.
increase that by 40%.
Yeah.
50%. There was a tremendous amount of negotiation happened exactly in the year 2020.
Yeah.
As a result of that, those poor students who spend millions of rupees
Mhm.
educating themselves to qualify themselves as an engineer,
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for that. So I would like to conclude. So there is a real problem today. There is a regulatory system which is required for us, and it has to come from the top-down approach. Connecting with government, connecting with institutions, and to favor both the employees as well as the employer. So that I would like to conclude. So thank you so much for giving your valuable time here for this panel discussion, Ashok. Thank you so much, Lekha Garu. Thank you so much, and Ravi Garu. Thank you so much. Yeah.